Hey, welcome to Mr. Jorgens here. We're doing 7.1 on polynomials. Today's going to be all about classifying polynomials. We're going to start talking about adding and subtracting them next time. So for today, this is just a day 1, and we'll pick up on day 2 next week. So stay tuned. There will be a few questions for you to answer along the way, and we're going to get going on chapter 7. So the first thing we're going to talk about is something called monomials, and we'll work our way up to polynomials. In monomials, if we look at what that means, mono, like monarchy, means like a king, so 1. Mono means 1. And nomial means term. So polynomial is going to mean many terms. Monomial means 1 term. And in this case, the math definition of a monomial is that a monomial is a number variable. Oops, that's not how you spell variable. So it's a number, a variable, or a combination that comprise an expression. So some examples of monomials would be 3, or 5x, or -9y, or 1/2 x squared y to the third, or -2/3 z to the sixth. There's lots of different possibilities. What you notice about all of these is none of them have any addition or subtraction in them. They're just 1 term. So we can write that one expression without kind of putting plus or minus some other thing. Something like 2x plus 5 would not work. That's not a monomial because we'd have 2 different terms, 2x and we'd have 5. The next main term we have is something called the degree. And so we talk about degree within polynomials a lot. And when we're talking about the degree of a monomial, what that is it's the sum of the exponents of the variables in the monomial. So we're going to do a few examples of this here. I'm going to call it example 1. Find the degree of the monomial. And as we're looking at this, we're just going to look at those exponents, and we're going to kind of use the exponents to find the degree. So example 1a, 5x squared. And so for 5x squared, I only have one variable with an exponent on it, right? The exponents of the variables. We see this part here. So we're looking for the exponents, and the only one I have is 2. And so in this case, the degree is just equal to 2. So if I have anything like that, where I just have one exponent, the degree will just be whatever that exponent is. The trickier ones are when you have more than one exponent. So say we have something like 1/2 x squared y to the third. So something like this, now I have 2 and I have a 3, right? So now when I'm doing the degree, It says sum, and sum here means add of the exponents of the variables. So my degree would be 2 plus 3, which ends up being 5. Couple more if I have like 8xy squared. This can be tricky because we kind of have an invisible exponent on x. X, again, if we just have an x, that would be x to the 1. So I really have 1x and the 2 y's. So my degree would be 1 plus 2 equals 3. The last kind of special case is if we have something with no variable, like say we have the monomial -3. There's no variable there, and the definition of the degree is the sum of the exponents of the variables. Well, I don't have any variables here. So since I don't have any variables at all, meaning no letters, my degree is just going to be equal to 0 on this one. All right, so those are kind of the different cases. I'm going to have you try 2 here. So E and F you're going to try. So we're going to start with E. And in E, try to find the degree of 5y to the third. Or sorry, 7y to the third. So 7y to the third, find the degree, and enter your answer when you're ready. Yeah, so the exponent would be 3, so hopefully you picked that the degree is 3. All right, one more for you to try, F. F is going to be 1/4 x to the third, y to the sixth. So 1/4 x to the third, y to the sixth. Again, it's the sum of the exponents of the variables. Find the degree and enter your answer when you're ready. Yeah, sum meaning add them together. So my two variables here would be 3 and 6. And 3 plus 6 is going to be equal to 9. So my degree is going to end up being 9 on that one. All right, so hopefully we understand monomials and degrees after this screen. And we're going to start classifying some of these different polynomials as we move forward. So what this whole chapter is going to end up being about is something called polynomials. And polynomials, what that kind of stands for is poly means many. Just like polytheism means many gods. Polynomial means many terms, polygon, many sides, right? So that poly prefix means many, and then nomials is kind of the base word, which means term. It's just like monomials meant one term, polynomials means many terms, right? So many terms, and as we look at this, we're going to be classifying because there's some different types of polynomials. But in general, a polynomial is a combination of monomials combined by addition or subtraction. Whoops, I should say combined. So we're looking at a combination of monomials here. And so as we're looking at it, there's some different ones here. So like binomial, that would mean 2 terms because bi means 2. Just like bicycle means 2 wheel, tricycle 3 wheels, right? So trinomial, just like a tricycle, trinomial is going to mean 3 because tri means 3. Right, biathlon 2 events, triathlon 3 events. And so my example of a binomial would be something like 2x plus 5, 1, 2 terms. My example of a trinomial would be something like 3x squared plus 5x plus 7, right? 1, 2, 3 terms. Now, if we're talking about the degree of a polynomial, we would only look at its leading term. So the leading term would be like this one, the one of highest degree. So the degree of that binomial would be 1. Whereas for this one, you might be tempted to say 2 and 1, but you wouldn't. You would just look at the leading term, and the degree of that leading term would be 2. So the degree of that trinomial would be 2. All right, so we're going to work on classifying some of these. We really just need to know monomial, binomial, and trinomial, and that's kind of the main part of this one. Remember, monomial means one term, binomial 2 terms, trinomial 3 terms. You can have polynomials if you have something like 2x to the 7 plus 3x to the 5th minus 6x squared plus 7x minus 5. We don't really have a name for that. That would just be called a polynomial, many terms. There's 5 terms in total. And then we would say the degree of that polynomial is 7, right? But we need to be able to classify monomial, binomial, trinomial. All right, we're going to classify each of these polynomials as either a monomial, binomial, or trinomial. That's example 2. So for number 1 here, 5x plus 7. As I'm looking at this, I have 1, 2 terms. So it would be a binomial. This is kind of one of the main things we have to do today. So the second piece, if we have something like 6x to the 3rd, that would just have 1 term. So I'd call it a monomial. If we have something like 6x squared minus 5x plus 4, that would have 1, 2, 3 terms. So I'd call it a trinomial. 3 terms, right? So you go ahead and try this one. If I have negative 6x, would that be a monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Classify it and enter your answer when you're ready. Just 1 term, so hopefully you put monomial. Next one, let's say we have 7x minus 3. Classify that polynomial and enter your answer when you're ready. That'd be a binomial. We have 1, 2 terms. All right, last one, if we have 2x squared minus 3x plus 4. Is it a monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Classify the polynomial. Enter your answer when you're ready. 1, 2, 3 terms. So this one would be a trinomial. All right, this is just a taste at chapter 7. Chapter 7 is going to be all about polynomials. So hopefully this is a good starter for you. You made it to the end. So log off and hopefully we'll pick this up next time.